Before we get into the video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so that you never miss another video. Thank you. I've always been interested in the idea of lucid dreaming. I think it stems from how shy I am in my normal waking life. Have you ever replayed a conversation or an interaction in your head hours after the fact and come up with an alternate ending? Things you wished you'd said or done. Things you would have said or done if you'd just had the guts. Yeah, that. Lucid dreaming seemed like a dream to me, excuse the pun. I just wanted a way to live out my fantasies and have some level of control over situations. I guess I secretly saw it as a way to practice my social skills so I had more confidence whilst awake. Sad, I know, right? I watched and read tons of tutorials on YouTube and Reddit. The most consistent tips were to notice things in your waking life every day and say it in your head. That's my blue door. That bush is getting pretty overgrown. That pothole is deep. The idea is, when you dream of that location in your sleep, you'll be able to take control as you will be aware of your surroundings. I did this every day for about 3 weeks, but I didn't reap the rewards. I remained patient. I meditated every night. I listened to the induced lucid dreaming frequencies before I slept, and finally, last night, it worked. I remember finding myself walking in the afternoon down my street. It was that horrible sludgy walk where you can't get any speed or momentum. That's when I saw the pothole, and something must have tripped my brain, and I was able to walk freely, at an actual walking pace. I turned the corner and noticed an overgrown bush. I kept walking past when I thought, I'd like to see if any flowers have grown. A jolt. My free will took over, and I peered over the bush and saw buds of flowers beginning to sprout. They were beautiful. And that's when it hit me. I'm doing it. I'm lucid dreaming. It was such a freeing notion. This was my world. I could do anything I wanted. I could be anyone I wanted. What should I do? Where should I go? I wandered around the strangely deserted town for some time, basking in the glorious loneliness of it. No one was looking at me or whispering about me. This was my town now. Then I had an idea. An interaction I wanted to have. I'd fantasized about having. My feet pounded the pavement to a part of town I seldom go. Because she lives here. Would she be here in my dream? Of course she would. I control everything here. My heart rate quickened as I approached her house. I faltered. The fear I felt when interacting with Rebecca in my waking life was bleeding into the here and now. No, I told myself. This is your chance. I marched up to the door and banged on the wood. Oi, bitch, open up. Rebecca opened the door, but she didn't look like herself. She looked frailer than normal. Meek. Weak. She avoided eye contact with me, and she asked what I wanted. I didn't know what to say. I hadn't thought that far ahead. I want you to pay for everything you've done to me, I whispered. She tried to close the door, but I wedged my foot in the gap. An animal rage took over, all my repressed emotions boiling to the surface. This bitch had made my life hell for years, and this was my chance to live out my darkest desires. I tied her up. I beat her and spat on her and called her all the names she used on me. I lit her hair on fire and took chunks out of her flesh with my teeth. She pleaded for me to stop, begged me, told me how sorry she was and how she would never do it again. I got carried away. I stabbed her in the eye with a kitchen knife. It was then that I noticed my hands. My hands with the calluses on the fingers from nervous picking. My hands. My waking hands covered in blood. I woke up in a cold sweat, heart beating at 1,000,000 miles an hour and shame swelling in my stomach. It took a while for me to calm down, for me to realize it had just been a dream. But I was scared. Scared at what my conscious and unconscious brain had come up with in such a short space of time. I needed help. This wasn't right. I forced myself to stay awake, frightened at what I would do if I fell back asleep. I climbed out of bed as the first rays of sunshine filtered through my window. I went into the living room and turned on the TV. It opened onto the news. The horrific news about a local woman found dead, beaten up, and stabbed in the eye.